The headlines.
Let's go!
Police in Nashville released footage from officers who responded to a mass shooting in a school. They say the attacker had bought 7 guns legally.
She was under care, doctor's care, for an emotional disorder. Law enforcement knew nothing about the treatment she was receiving, but her parents felt that she should not own weapons.
3 children, all aged 9, were killed, along with 3 adults, among them the head teacher. Clashes erupt in France between police and protesters angry with President Macron's pension reform plans. More action is planned for next month. At least 40 people have died in a fire at a migrant processing facility on the US-Mexico border. A billionaire's son who fled to Yemen hours after the death of a student in central London 15 years ago admits to the BBC that he was involved in her death. And the BBC is granted rare access to London's new £5 billion super sewer aimed at cleaning up the River Thames.
Italy introduces a law banning the production and sale of synthetic foods, including artificial meat.
Starting with the fact that President Biden says he hopes that the Israeli Prime Minister will abandon the judicial reform law that has sparked weeks of protests and a political crisis. Benjamin Netanyahu delayed the proposal on Monday after large numbers of people took to the streets. The political party of the Burmese Nobel laureate Aung San Suu Kyi has been dissolved by Myanmar's military rulers. The National League for Democracy had refused to re-register as a party under strict new rules introduced by the military. The president of the International Olympic Committee has defended plans that would allow Russian and Belarusian athletes back into international competition as individual neutral athletes. Thomas Bach said allowing their participation works despite the ongoing war. The IOC had placed sanctions on Russia and Belarus following the Russian invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Prince Harry has returned to the Royal Courts of Justice for the second day of a High Court hearing in London over multiple privacy claims brought against the publisher of the Daily Mail. Prince Harry is part of a group, along with Sir Elton John and David Furnish, bringing claims over allegations Associated Newspapers Limited carried out or commissioned illegal or unlawful information gathering.
The terrorism threat level in Northern Ireland has been raised from substantial to severe, meaning an attack is considered highly likely. The British Security Service MI5 says its assessment follows a rise in dissident Republican activity, including a recent gun attack on a top police officer. This decision reverses a downgrade from last month, the first change in 12 years. 2 women have been stabbed to death at a Muslim religious centre in the Portuguese capital, Lisbon. Police shot the suspect in the leg and were then able to detain him. The attacker is believed to be of Afghan origin, but the motive is unclear. Both victims were Portuguese. One had taught the attacker English at the centre and the other was a classmate.